Tucker Carlson and Katie Pavlich on Fox News are going to embarrass themselves here talking about Obama's scandals. Let's watch.
David Axelrod, the former senior advisor to President Obama, feel proud. Watch this.
I'm proud of the fact that basically you've had an administration that's been in place for 6 years in which there hasn't been a major scandal.
Yep, no major scandals during the Obama administration. Well, Katie Pavlich is the news editor for Town Hall. She's also a Fox News contributor. She joins us live this morning. Katie, good to see you. Is this an example of the principle that if you just lie boldly and do it enough, the people will start to believe it?
You know, I'm not sure it necessarily works in this case because the Obama administration, as you and I know, has not been scandal-free, and the types of scandals that we've seen come out of the Obama administration impact Americans very directly. The IRS scandal is one of them. When they see that the most powerful government agency is reaching in to their pockets and actually targeting Americans just like them, they have a problem. Other scandals that affect Americans directly are Obamacare, lying to millions of Americans about keeping their health care, or, you know, talking about that they're stupid. I all remember Grubergate from earlier this year.
Okay, we're going to get to this stuff on screen in a second. Everybody listening to the live show couldn't see it, but I'll describe what was written on screen as examples of scandals. But let's go one by one here. So first of all, the Gruber thing where he called Americans stupid. No, what he did is he said, we had to frame the Obamacare debate and discussion as we are increasing insurance as opposed to just describing it in its most basic terms, which is young people are going to end up paying for old people to get care. Because if you say the first thing, that we should increase insurance, everybody's in favor of it. But if you say the second thing, then people go, I don't like that. I don't like that. Now, it's the exact same thing, but one is describing it in its most basic sense. The other one is using slightly more fancy words of saying increasing insurance. And he was describing that the American people are very fickle. Depends how you describe things. It could be the same principle at work, but if you describe them two separate ways, one way they'll favor it, the other way they won't favor it. And he said people do not pick up on the nuance there. So is he right in that? 100% correct. To disagree with that, I think you're being silly if you disagree with that. So that's one scandal, that's a non-scandal, and by the way, it was only a scandal among Fox viewers. So not a scandal. Now the second thing, well, Obama lied about healthcare when he said, oh, if you like your healthcare, you could keep it. But here's the thing. In reality, sure, you couldn't keep it. But you got better care at a cheaper cost. They never tell you the second part of it, right? That as far as lies go, yeah, the situation ended up being better than the one that he portrayed. If you like your healthcare, you can keep it. Well, it turns out that some people liked healthcare plans that they paid $100 a month and they got absolutely nothing in return. So they got disaster coverage, which is nothing. So what did Obama do? He made it so that some of those people pay $88 a month as opposed to $100 a month, and they actually get coverage. So it worked out for the better. They never tell you the second part of that. So scandal gone. And then on screen, it said, you ready for this? Benghazi, only the biggest non-scandal ever, according to every expert at this point. There's a New York Times investigation where people were on the ground, investigative reporters were on the ground figuring out exactly what happened. You know what happened? Exactly what Obama said happened. You had the different House Republican panels that looked into it. You know what happened? They came back and said, yeah, nothing really happened here. I mean, they tried their best and it didn't work out. It was a tragedy, but there's nothing to blame on Obama and Hillary Clinton. Oops. So, not a scandal, even according to the panels themselves, the Republican panels themselves. So, another bullshit one. It also said IRS targeting. Okay, the IRS targeted liberal groups more than conservative groups. And all the conservative groups that were looked at all got approval to be viewed, to be categorized under tax law as social welfare groups when they weren't even social welfare groups. They were what's called electioneering groups, which means they try to get certain people elected and they're politically involved. They're not really doing just charity. So if anything, the scandal was that the government was way too kind to the conservative groups, but they flip it on its head and act like, oh, no, they were targeting conservatives in a negative way. It's terrible. It's terrible. I mean, the groups also, by the way, had names like, we hate taxes. So you think maybe you should look at the groups that say we hate taxes in terms of are they paying their taxes or not? Yeah, I think that would merit an investigation. But maybe that's just me and I'm crazy. But even with that being the case, again, they didn't do that. They looked more into liberal groups than they looked at conservative groups. And then it also said VA waitlist. Now that is a scandal, the VA waitlist, but they don't tell you the second part. That the Republicans blocked funding for over 20 new VA clinics. The Democrats proposed it and argued for it, and the Republicans filibustered it. They filibustered over 20 new VA clinics, and then they turn around and blame the Democrats when there's wait lists. They tried to fix it, and you fucking blocked them. So yeah, it's a scandal, but it's your fault. All right, next we have AP spying. Now there's a real scandal. That's as real as it gets, man. The government spying, not just on the AP and not just, cracking down on journalists more under this administration than any other administration, but they're spying on all the American people, right? So it's not just AP spying, it's spying on everybody, but they're focusing only on AP. And then Fast and Furious, total bullshit. Solyndra, again, beyond bullshit. So what? We lost money on an investment for green technology. I would prefer 8 more Solyndras to happen as long as we get one green technology company that blows up and actually provides us with renewable energy and a path to the future of energy. So we should do more investment in green technology. If every once in a while something goes bust, it happens. It's not nefarious. It's not like they wanted to waste money. They tried something out and it didn't work. This happens with government investments all the time. It's not a scandal. Again, do more green technology investment. I mean, that's what we should do. All right, so out of all the scandals they mentioned, there's like one real one. Or like 1.5, but the ones that are real scandals are more their fault. The only one that's a true scandal is the AP one, and they're right to point that out. But all the others, nothing. But here's the thing, man. Like, people are going to listen to this and go, oh, Kyle, you're defending Obama too much here. Now let me go after Obama. So if Fox wanted to go after Obama for real scandals, they could have done that. They could have pointed out real scandals, but they always have to point to the overwhelming majority. The stuff they point to are the bullshit ones from deep within their bubble. But the real Obama scandals are NSA spying, like I just spoke about. Just as bad, actually worse under Obama than it was under Bush. The Iraq War 3.0. That's a scandal that we're not viewing as a scandal. The drone strikes that killed Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki. The kid of Anwar al-Awlaki. Now, al-Awlaki was a jihadist, a known jihadist, and they killed him with a drone. You could debate over the legality of that or whether or not they should have done that. Here's what you can't debate. You can't debate whether or not they should have killed his 16-year-old son who wasn't a jihadist, and there's no evidence he was a jihadist. That's as big of a scandal as it gets. Killing American citizens? He was an American citizen. Killing an American citizen with a drone while overseas with no evidence of wrongdoing. The most brazen violation of the Constitution ever. There's a real scandal and one that you should have focused on. But of course they don't do that because you're killing Muslims with drones, so Fox News loves it. Are you kidding me? They probably, threw a party over that. And then, of course, there's the increase in income inequality. That's a scandal. The fact that Dodd-Frank is riddled with loopholes, that's a scandal. And not prosecuting Wall Street criminals. That's the biggest scandal that there is. They should have cracked down on Wall Street way harder than they did, and they didn't do it. So you want to talk about real scandals? There are real scandals there, but in typical Fox News fashion, they have to focus on the bullshit made-up stuff.